Is it pasta? Is the saying you throw pasta at the wall and it sticks?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti at the wall and it sticks? Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that how you know it's like actually done? For today, as the stream says, we'll be doing boring harmonic minor stuff. For those you know who don't know, it's kind of like Yngwie Malmsteen. If we're doing kind of classic minor stuff. Very sad, very, very sad. But then we add in this one note. Very, very dramatic. Yeah, that'll be a harmonic minor, but you can use that scale in other contexts, and I just need to write it down. I need to do it in my visual kind of format, or else I kind of forget some stuff. So we'll take a look at it. Hopefully we'll learn the modes. Maybe we'll look at a theory video. We'll see. I don't know. It's just something I wanted to explore for a while. So 2023 has been coming on a bit weaker, I would say, for musical acts. I don't think anyone's really surprised. COVID in 2020 really shut down a lot of, musicians, right? And they really wanted to get out there and tour in 2021, 2022. So I feel like we saw at least one band every month. What do you think, Sab?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, at least a band every month, sometimes two. And they're out there in full force. I remember some stuff of just people coming in the first half of the year, and then they're coming back in the second half for another U.S. tour, and people, they're just selling out the whole time. So what, that doesn't look exactly right. Not what I remembered. Okay, that's an image. No way that's an image. As a review, it looks like these red dots is the fretboard here. Oh, maybe I should update like the status and stuff, eh? Yeah, if I were to say so, these red dots kind of indicate the major scale, particularly in C. Got first note there in the scale. So first, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, and then an octave. But we need to make the harmonic minor. Yeah, we need to move all of those G's and make them G sharps instead. So what do we need to, how do we do that? Well, it ain't gonna be easy. It's just gonna be moving the circles around. I don't really know what to tell you. Enjoying the guitar. Well, here's some guitar to ponder then. Yeah, think about that one for a little bit. Get back to me on that one. Is that the new hit single? Is that the new chords behind the new Polyphia song? You'll never know. I always knew about this stuff. I feel like if you are more into metal, and especially if you've listened to Yngwie Malmsteen at any point in your life, you know that harmonic minor sound. Very dramatic, whatever, is kind of ingrained in your ears. I know that is like you could say a roadblock for some musicians in school when they're learning this stuff. Like everyone else, I look at Rick Beato and Adam Neely and a bunch of other guys on YouTube and try to have a bunch of stuffed mud thrown against the wall and see what sticks.
Isn't that usually pasta?
Is it pasta? Is the saying you throw pasta at the wall and it sticks?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti at the wall and it sticks? Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that how you know it's like actually done? There's some great videos of like people with Italian significant others just totally intentionally screwing up the pasta making process, just to see how they react. I love that.
Abject cruelty.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to mess with people every once in a while. You and I both learn something new every day. Just at dinner, I was trying to remember, like in Spanish, there's this idiom of being as happy as an aardvark. So we were in C major. C major being a very classic scale, no sharps and flats. At least all the white keys on the piano, right? If you know the relative minor, which is again all just the same notes, just played in a different order. We have A minor being the relative minor, or aeolian. So there's that. And there's another scale that you can derive other modes from. And harmonic minor is one of them. And a harmonic minor is what we're looking at right now, assuming I did all this stuff correctly. So that's kind of like the scale shape, starting from A at the 5th fret with the 6th string. I think I have no idea. You know what? I have no idea what an aardvark is.
Like,
Arthur's an aardvark? He just looked like a weird pharaoh with glasses, but I didn't really watch that show, honestly. They have really long noses. All right. I believe you.
like an anteater.
Yeah, at least I thought it was the same, family as an anteater. So for those who are kind of inclined, I mean, this is the classic minor pentatonic scale in here, but as you can tell, all of the minor pentatonic doesn't actually fit in there. Like I'm missing the G, which would be a minor 7th. And so that's why when we raise that, excuse me, and we have that kind of whole and a half step or 3 frets away from each other, we've got a kind of a new scale, but it's very, very similar. One thing that I always do when I learn is try to base it off of knowledge that I already know, and then I can just tweak it just a little bit, just turn the knob a little bit, and then you can get something new. This is no exception. We've got a minor pentatonic scale, but this time we move up the 7th up 1 fret, or it's aeolian, but we're moving it the 7th up 1 fret, so we get a major 7th instead of a minor 7th interval. And if I decide to choose very specific notes from that, you can get a diminished 7th arpeggio from it. So one kind of dead giveaway. So if you have this kind of relationship where you have a root note and then the tritone and then root note and tritone, you're probably going to be pretty decent off. And look, there's another one right here. And so you have this kind of scale where you are essentially just a minor third away from each other the whole time. Even it extends all the way up here too. So maybe I'll mark that just for fun and see what happens. You know, that kind of relationship is how you get kind of like that kind of cheat code as I learned very, very far back in the day. It's a symmetrical kind of arpeggio. And all you have to do is make sure that you're hitting the 4th fret or the 7th fret or the 10th fret, and you're just kind of spamming this over and over, or you just spam this, and you have something that sounds, pretty evil, but pretty good. Very evil. It sounds like we have 2 different flavors. We've got harmonic minor, which is very dramatic, sad, for lack of a better term, and then you have evil. So I know there's more to it than that, and I'll just type in harmonic minor modes. This is kind of what I wanted. I wanted music theory.
I'm Jake Lizio, and in this video, I'm going to be demonstrating
classic
for
guy,
you all 7
Jake.
modes of the
He's my
harmonic minor
favorite.
scale. Now, this is a really dense, complicated topic, so I've prepared a lot of free resources for you. And I mean free. You don't have to even give me your email. Just check below in the description, and you'll find access to these charts. You'll also have access to many jam tracks that I've created just for this concept to help you practice these scales and other scales as well.
Good. I kind of wanted that. I did want a jam track stuff, and I wanted to check out some of the charts. Yeah. So this is kind of what I was really interested in right here. So I have Aeolian sharp 7, or natural 7, sorry. And I guess I kind of said that too. So it is like a regular minor Aeolian scale, but you have a major 7 interval, which would be natural, the word for natural, instead of the minor seventh in there. So that's what we've played. We've played a couple of times, and they actually have the chords written out here. If you're familiar with the Nashville system or the new Roman numeral system, if we're doing it nicely, we've got A minor, and B diminished. Then you have C augmented, and then D minor, E major, and then F, and then G sharp augmented. So it's a little bit weird. There's definitely some weird chords in there, but because I really wanted to memorize these type of shape or these names. Just like in traditional modes, we've got the C major scale, and the first one's called C Ionian, and the second one is called Dorian. Then we have one that's Phrygian, and then we've got Lydian here. Then we've got Mixolydian. Then we've got Aeolian. Maybe I've got a cooler sounding one. Yeah, that sounds not bad. Then diminished or Locrian. And then back up to C. So we've got all that. Those are all names for the types of modes that you can derive from a scale. This is, again, another scale, and we're deriving other modes from it. So we have Aeolian, natural 7, which is the harmonic minor. We've got Locrian natural 6, Ionian sharp 5, Dorian sharp 4, or the Romanian scale. Cool. Phrygian natural or Phrygian dominant for the 5th. All right, fair enough. Lydian sharp 2, and then ultra Locrian, super Locrian, yeah, with the double flat 7. It sounds like it follows the natural progression. And we go to 7. 7 is Locrian. We don't have an 8, it's just 1, so that's Ionian. Then we've got Dorian, which is 2, then Phrygian, then Lydian. So it follows the same standard format in context of the names. After that, you just need to memorize natural 7, natural 6, sharp 5, sharp 4, etc. Okay. So we can do that.
But there's going to be a lot we have to get through before I can just start playing you scales. So
it is kind of funny. I just watched a video today with Rick Beato where he says this is kind of the minimum you need to be a great improviser and great composer. And this is considered advanced music theory. And I think for most, at least guitarists who are notoriously bad for everything from reading music to understanding music theory, yeah, it's probably advanced. I do agree it should be kind of like a baseline, something of a baseline that everyone should really know, because there's some really cool sounds in here. And it's just one note different from the scale you already know.
So let's begin with a quick little recap of harmonic minor and how we might be able to build triads out of harmonic minor.
Fair enough.
Harmonic minor is just Aeolian with a natural 7. So we have a minor scale like A, B, C, D, E, F, and then G sharp is a natural 7th compared to A. So those 7 notes would be A harmonic minor. But you might just want to think of it as A minor with a natural 7th, or A Aeolian with a natural 7th. Now with these 7 notes, I can make 7 very obvious triads just by skipping notes. By starting on A and skipping a note, it takes me to C, and then skipping another note takes me to E. So I've got this A minor triad that I can play at the beginning of my scale, and I can notate that with a little lowercase numeral 1. Starting on the second note, I can skip notes and I get a B, a D, and an F, which is a B diminished triad. And continuing forward, I get a C augmented triad, a D minor, an E major, an F major, and a G sharp diminished. And that, of course, can all resolve back to an A minor. Now, you should know these Roman numerals. These are the same chords I described in my 3-part series on the harmonic minor scale. So if this is unfamiliar to you, then most of this lesson is going to be very confusing for you.
I think we're good. Just going to double check if I know. I think the augmented triads are built off of major thirds, if I remember correctly. So we've got C. that what he played?
triad. And continuing forward, I get a C augmented triad, a D minor, an E
major
major.
thirds, not minor thirds, major thirds. Cool.
So in my opinion, I think it's a really good thing to start thinking about these alternative triads. In A harmonic minor, there is an F minor triad. It's just going to be spelled incorrectly. And this is really breaking the rules, but hey, we're already breaking the rules by trying to turn harmonic minor into a key.
And I really like that. I've always loved the practical use of some of these descriptive, theoretical calculations for some of these chords. So I can just pick some really wild things here, and I can get something as crazy as a E dominant 7, sharp 9, flat 5 sus, or I can just call it a D minor 9. Knowing those inversions and the more practical use of the name as opposed to a more theoretically correct version of a name is, I think, more interesting, more useful for the user. So let's see what else he's got. Oh, and I totally forgot, because you can do minor major stuff too. When he's saying that there's like an F major and there's an F minor, both in the same. I assume that when they're starting to add other notes, we're going to start talking about those chords.
That there is another triad available there off the 6th degree. Now, in my charts, I notate this versatility with this little star symbol. You'll see that anytime the star shows up, that triad could be played as a major chord or a minor chord.
Oh.
But there's even more weird stuff going on here. Off this note, I could play an F, and then go to G sharp, and then go to B. And those notes spell out the notes of an F diminished chord.
Yeah.
So off of this one note, there's 3 possible triads that I can hear. I can have a major triad, a minor triad, or a diminished triad.
So that's probably why in jazz, at least minor jazz standards, there's just like, there's so much versatility of what you can play to actually improvise over it. You can play really intense, ridiculous stuff like... Or I guess maybe you can play... Or you can play... all those, and they're all valid. Okay, fair enough. Jake, you've taken me on quite a ride for free here on YouTube. Let's see what else you've got. All right, let's do the demos. I've seen enough.
Minor actually sounds like.
Classic. This is probably, I'd say, the most important part for me. There's the academic theoretical stuff for why these modes are called for what they are, but you need to associate them with a sound. That sounded very both dramatically sad and evil at the same time. We'll see if I come up with a different descriptor for this one.
The other thing we could do is look at our whole step, half step formula of A harmonic minor, and then let's just offset it by 1. Let's take that initial whole step and put it at the end of the sequence. And that'll give us a new sequence of whole steps and half steps. And
this is modes 101. I think I can skip this. There's lots of good stuff for modes, but if you have not looked into it, I recommend you do.
But my chord progression is just going to go A half diminished to A full diminished, back and forth between 2 very uncomfortable chords for you to hear what A low Korean natural 6 actually sounds like.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, okay, so augmented and then B minor over A. Sounds good.
Merged
Let's hear what you
together.
got. What's the verdict on that one? Kind of like space stuff, plus a regular sounding like Mixolydian or Ionian thing, but also a little messed up.
90s fantasy danger music,
Danger music.
like RuneScape almost.
Yeah, RuneScape. It would have it in a RuneScape dungeon. I could totally see that.
This is going to be called Dorian Sharp 4, which is also known as the Romanian scale. And what's really cool here is that we have a minor triad and a tritone. And anytime you get that combination
Yeah,
of
that's
notes,
good. I like that.
there's a chord progression in here that you won't find anywhere else, which is a minor 1 chord, so A minor, to B major.
Any other places where I might have heard that? So it's whole, half. That's kind of Phrygian adjacent, isn't it? So we've got C major, E. It's going to be our Phrygian note. It's kind of the classic, oh, I'm in the desert sound. That kind of a thing. And that does have a minor right next to a major before, or if I play without the sevenths. Definitely heard this before. It's kind of like, it's definitely Phrygian adjacent. Pretty sure I've heard this on a No Pet track before.
Remember at the beginning of the video, I said that 1 degree, you can build major triads or minor triads. Well, in the song Arabian Nights from Aladdin, we see an A minor to C minor, which is a chromatic media change that you will not hear anywhere else.
That's cool, because I think a lot of what gets me really interested in songwriting and stuff nowadays is just taking the same chord and then moving it somewhere else, especially if it's not in the key that you started in. So I don't know, maybe like we'll go. It's a little bit weirder. I was throwing in A minor and C minor in there, just like he was talking about, going A minor, then D minor, then E minor, and then from the E minor going to C minor, where usually it's a major. I'll show you what the difference sounds like. And then we'll do it the other way. The gears are turning. We love that. I'm very familiar with this sound, even especially, like you said, if you're familiar with progressive metal at all, you've heard this before.
The next mode of harmonic minor is known as Lydian sharp 2. And if you take a Lydian scale and sharp the second note, you'll end up
so
with this
weird.
sequence. And the consequence of doing that is pretty weird. What we end up is getting a minor third and a major third, and then everything else just feels like Lydian.
Some of the comments there on the playing actually it's a bit of classical Lydian stuff. So kind of those type of licks, and then when it gets to the minor, it's actually just kind of doing kind of diminished, I feel like diminished stuff, and focusing on that, like you said, minor third. So cool. I think it's kind of definitely a really, really cool flair there.
Now, last and definitely least is the 7th mode of harmonic minor, which is going to be called ultra Locrian, or
Definitely
super
least.
Locrian double flat 7. If you analyze our scale degrees here, we have a root, a flat 2, a flat 3, a flat 4, a flat 5, a flat 6, and a double flatted 7. So I know those are some
Too
pretty
many flats.
weird enharmonics, but that's what we get. And it's pretty much nothing useful. We don't get a second, which is really nice to have. We don't get a flatted 7th or a major 7th. Those are nice notes to have. We don't get a 5th. We don't get a 4th. Like, all of those notes are really important to making good sounding music. And without them, we're left with just like the remainder. So it's really hard to get it sounding good.
When you
But
wanna
gotta give
sound
it a shot.
outside.
And what I think is unique here is that there's a
It's like, okay, here's a minor pentatonic. It's like, here's the flat second they said, and there's the sharp 5th. There's the flat 5th. Ugh, terrible. I think that's kind of in the support of why the jazz shortcut is just like, oh, just play minor pentatonic, but then like a half step down. So. Something like that.
But I just have to stress that you're not going to hear a lot of examples of entire songs that are in one of these modes. But these other ones especially pop up as little tiny moments, little things to accommodate just a special occurrence of a chord.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. He's such a great teacher. He just puts out good stuff. So thanks for making the good content here. Again, this is Critical Guitar. My name is Cole. Happy to have you sticking around. And yeah, thanks for learning about harmonic minor today. I'll catch you next time. Peace.